So as you can see, look, Vegeta's not here anymore. He's gone. He's gone. And you're paying full price for a DLC that was delayed. Daima Goku hasn't got anyone to fight. Why is it missing? Like, maybe something's in the way, right? Let me give it the benefit of the doubt. Why is it missing? Alright, so I'm gonna start off the bat. And this DLC is trash. I'll be honest, before I even get into that, I was talking, you know what I mean, I was trying to defend the DLC and saying before people do judge, before the game comes out, let's see what the game has to offer before we actually throw our 10 pence in, right? But seeing it from first glance, what they put into this DLC is awful. I was on Reddit saying to people like, alright, let's not judge the game before it comes out, right? Because we don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. They might surprise with something interesting, right? Which they didn't, because all the leaks got leaked about the characters that were in it. It was 8 characters, what was disappointing. From the last DLC, a lot of people were complaining, saying 11 characters wasn't enough, and it was paying so much for 11 characters, around like 14-15 pounds or so. But now this DLC's come out. Obviously, we haven't got the official pricing of it, but they're giving us less characters, less content to cover, and a worse overall package in my opinion, because one, these characters, they're not going to be used on rank, and they're mostly going to be used in casual, and two, they haven't got no counterparts for them to even fight, right? So you've got SS3 Vegeta, but who's he going to fight? No one. So you already know there aren't no interesting cutscenes. The dialogue is still in Japanese, so that means they haven't got an English dub for the characters yet. And they delayed this as well, bear that in mind, right? So just looking at the package, what we got, right? So I want to start the battle, which is kind of terrible, bro, and I think that needs to be addressed ASAP if they even want to get any sales. But the fact that his ultimate cutscene doesn't even animate correctly, so while they are battle damage, they disappear. So as you can see, look, Vegeta's not here anymore. He's gone. He's gone. And you're paying full price for a DLC that was delayed, right? To know that the main character wasn't even animated correctly. Now, to say that it works, kind of, when they've got clothing on still, right? So as you can see here, with no battle damage, if I hit Vegeta here, you'll see he's in the cutscene, fully clothed, no damage at all. Where she should have took battle damage there anyways, right? Because he got hit by Fireball, but no, he takes it here instead. So he takes it there while he was fully clothed, unarmed, but when he drops to the ground, he loses his clothes. So they need to animate that, and I honestly don't think they're going to be rushing anytime soon to fix that. But you know what I mean, to know that it doesn't work as soon as he gets battle damage after is crazy. Like, the cutscene, he's not here anymore. You know what I mean, isn't it? Main character's cutscene that doesn't even animate well, that needs to be addressed, right? Okay, another issue I have with this character as well himself is, well, he's an inferior fighter compared to his previous version, which is SS2, right? So as you can see him, he has no step and sway, which is kind of vital in this game while you're playing at a high level, because you want to be able to dodge your opponent's attack, right? Especially when you're stepping in and they come to press you, because all you can do is just kind of defend, and he's most likely going to get punished for it. So you can't step and sway, but SS2 has it. Base form hasn't got it either though, so base form hasn't got it. Bear that in mind, Daima Goku does have this though, so they haven't even made him more equivalent to Daima Goku. So they haven't focused on his defensive mechanism by doing a step in. Like you see with Super Saiyan, he hasn't got it either. And just notice how I'm pressing R1 as well, so you can see that I'm not just bluffing. So yeah, he hasn't got it here. He hasn't got no step and sway. But SS2, he has it. So this is a superior form. Even though SS3 may look more cinematic appealing, this is the better form in that sense, because not only has he got a step and sway, he has more combo options as well. So I'll show you real quick. The combo options he has for it is rush keyways, can do energy storm in it, and he has a heavy finish which can do delta heavy finish. Now this delta heavy finish, that's quite useful when it comes down to combos and keeping the pressure on your opponents, because you knock them far away, you can chase after them, right, and you can continue on your pursuit from that point on. And he has Key Blast, Cannon Smash, where he just knocks you down, but in the same way you can pursue after that as well. And he's got Flying Kick, which has no combos, but as you can see, he's got a unique set of moves, right, which he can do. So I just want to show you what heavy finish does, because this is realistically, the heavy finish is the useful part of this. My bad. So that was not heavy finish, that was the other one. That was the Key Blast Web Cannon. But as you can see, that was one of the moves he does. There. That's the Delta Smash. And as you can see, you can kind of continue on your pursuit from that point on, right? Which makes it a vital combo for you to do. But if you go to SS3 now, you'll realize he actually loses that. And I don't understand why. Why would you lose moves when you transform? That's just the bad decision making. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's got the same Ki Blast he had in his base form, the spread shot one. There's nothing unique with the Ki Blast here. Not when he jump. Oh, but when he jumps, actually, he's got a unique one here. So fair enough. He has a unique move there. When he dashes, though, it's the same crap. So to only put the unique one in this one here, while that one's kind of trash, is a bit weird. But yeah, just showing off his combo strings. So you see, he's got Heavy Crush, which is an inferior version of the punch one I was doing before. You can't really combo anything too ecstatic with it. And he's got Ki Blast Cannon Smash, which I showed you off he had originally. And he's got the Energy Storm one, which is probably the most trashiest combo extender in this game, because most of the time your opponent can just block everything there. So I'll just show you real quick. And I think it's pretty easy to dodge block, bro. He's blocking all that. He's blocked all of that. You know what I mean? So I'm not to say it's bad energy that, because you can kind of probably tech behind your opponent and get him for that point or there. But again, like, just to use that out, and to know he's only got this one, which is vital for a combo, is actually crazy. So there's aren't really any potential mix-ups you can really do with the character when it comes to the combos. So that just makes him an inferior version, in my opinion, to SS2, Vegeta. You know, and again, like I was showing you, he's got the same Ki Blast as it was in his Super Saiyan 3 form. I think he might shoot a bit more actually, but that's really it. So he might do, instead of 3, I think he does 5. I wasn't counting, but if you guys watch back in the video and check, you might be able to see for yourself. But yeah, it's just you know, I mean, he hasn't got anything too special from his base form pretty much, or his SS4. Got a slow one from just keeping still and firing up, and he's got a fast one when you sidestep, which is going to be more vital, because again, in this game, it's very hard for you to be able to actually make the most of actually jumping, because most of the time the flights are in the, or the fights are in the air. So if the fights are in the air, you ain't gonna have an opportunity to really do this unless at the start of the match. And to know that SS3 got GR has a step in where he does that move there isn't really ideal for him, right? You know what I mean? So it's just overall a worse package in my opinion. That's Daima Vegeta for you. I don't think he's that great in the game. Yeah, I don't think Daima Vegeta is that great in the game. I think they should have put a bit more in this DLC, because this is the highlight of the DLC, right? But overall, I actually can't lie. I actually think Ku is a better character. I think Ku is the best character in the DLC. And the reason why I say that is because he's got enough combo strings to kind of see through. He has a step-in sway as well, so he's got also that. He's got the Ki Blast move. He actually pretty unique. So doing this move here, fires out and it hits you on above. So you can block it, yeah, but if he was to catch you off guard when you weren't locked onto him, it'd probably, you know what I mean, hit you. Anything like, let's see the damage he does. Alright, so 7,000 is not much at all really, but it's just a kind of cheap one to get away with. This move, I think is pretty decent. It's fast, around 8,000 damage, not a lot, but again, pretty fast. He's got the Ki Blast Cannon attack, what you can juggle with, heavy finish, and he's got a delta finish. So he's got 2 moves you can pretty much juggle with, and you got a mix up here as well for the heavy crush and the delta heavy finish, which is a unique feature. Well, not unique, but that is a more useful feature for him. So again, that you can juggle that, which is good. I did the same one, didn't I? You can do that one. Or you could do that one as well, which is a mix-up potential. But yeah, overall, I just think he's a better character. He's got margin power. I don't know what it does. And the snap time. I'm assuming that probably gives him back health. Let's check. But in overall combat, Ku is better. In my opinion, Ku is actually better. I just actually surpassed it all the way. HP recovers by 20% of max. Okay, cool. And melee attack power, key blast attack, and blast power increase for 15 seconds. So it's just a boost and a health regen. Yeah, so, but yeah, he will be a more funner character to use, because I feel like you can actually play him pretty well. And he's probably the best character in the pack. And to state that, while he's nothing special, is kind of low, in my opinion, man. You know what I mean? Like, Daima Goku, he's actually worse off compared to the original Goku we have. And the reason why I say that is because he lost his unique feature he had, where he, instead of choosing Ki Blast, he was able to do this move basically, like that. But the reason why this was better was because you would save the thought of actually stepping in. So in other words, your move would come out faster. That move there would come out, the poke would come out way faster, because now you have to step in to actually get the poke out. You know, where other times you could have just done it from far. You could have done it from this distance and you'd be able to get the poke, and your opponent wouldn't have really expected that. So now that you have to kind of step in now, they made him weak in that aspect, and they made him more generic. And the fact that you've they gave him a new Ki Blast, but they haven't given him no new actual features. So the jumping Ki Blast is the same, the dash Ki Blast is the same. You know what I mean? Nothing unique here, unique there. It's everything, all is the same. You know, which I think is just the worst package overall. His ultimate, I know it's pretty keen from the anime, but it's nothing special really. You know what I mean? It doesn't look that great. It's pretty generic. It's a pretty generic Ki Blast, explosive wave, and that's really much with it. Super Saiyan, I don't think it's worth the trade-off to lose out on actually stepping. Super Saiyan probably plays a bit better than the Daima character, but his base form is way worse, like way worse compared to what you can really do. So as you can see here, I think he's got a few combo strings. See, he's only got the Heavy Crush, and he's got this one here, the Blast Wave combo, which I think is unique. I haven't seen this one, unless I just haven't played as any characters that have this. But he's got that one, which is nice. But that's pretty much it he has. You know, that's literally it. And his heavy finish. That one there. And I only think that one's any good when it has a mix-up potential. But because he hasn't got no mix-up potential in that, and he's only left with this one. Well, I wish I failed. But he's only left with that one, basically. It leads me to believe, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's inferior when it comes down to combat. His moves are good. I'm not going to say his moves are bad. His moves are pretty good. They're animated pretty well. Haven't had no issues with how the animation works. But, yeah, I just think overall, this DLC isn't really it. Like, the animated moves well in the DLC, I'll give them that, but the actual overall mechanic in the game isn't too well, you know, for how they actually fight. And I just know they're not going to be used for ranks. None of these characters are really going to be used for ranks at all. So we're only going to see them in like casual matches. And the thing is, the issue with, wow, the hell did he even miss that? The issue is there aren't no counterparts for them to even fight, right? So SS3, he hasn't got anyone to fight. SS3 Vegeta. Daima Goku hasn't got anyone to fight. Why is it missing? Like, maybe something's in the way, right? Let me give it the benefit of the doubt. Why is it missing? Bro, so are you telling me he has an issue with his tracking as well? Like I said, I won't give it the benefit of that. Maybe the rock was in the way, innit? See here. Okay, yeah, the rock was in the way for some reason. But yeah, I mean, it's cutscened well. That move's cutscened well. But Vegeta Daima isn't cutscened well at all. And I can't lie, like I said to you, Daima Goku isn't that much of an exciting character to use at all. There's nothing really cool with him. You know, he's got Arthur range and full power. And like I said, it's his skills that look pretty cool, but then that's really it. His combo strings are poor. You know, they could have been more useful, more unique in that sense, I can imagine, but they're not really so. But yeah, that's just with the main characters here. Pansy, I didn't even bother to equip her. Gordio, whatever his name, Gordio or Glory Hole, shit. And I'm just going to show you why the original pre-bonus Goku Daima is better. because like I said to you, he hasn't got Ki Blast, right? Which a lot of people thought he was trash for that reason, but he's actually useful for that. For example, look at the range he could actually travel. So yeah, okay, he couldn't travel that far, but you know what I mean? Like, he has a lot of like potential to get into your opponent, and this is what made him unique. His whole playstyle was different compared to other characters. You know, he would have to kind of, instead of using Ki Blast, he'd have to get around your player and then kind of just jump in with that. But the good thing about that, anyways, is what I'm trying to get at, is it's instant. You know, like it's instant. To know you can do that is instantly, bro. Like instead of doing this step here, that takes too long. See how fast that is in comparison. So if you're first in a player and you're doing that, it's too obvious. That isn't. So this is why I believe the pre-bonus Daima character Goku is better than the new one, and just because they took away his unique perk. You know, as long as you understand how to use it, then you know you'd be more advantageous when it comes down to fighting. But they just made it more generic now, and I don't understand that. You know what I mean? So I would say they should have given a bit more unique, different step-ins. You know, that would have been pretty cool if he had more unique step-ins. So instead of having a heavy finish, if he jumped, he would do it another one, and then if he sidestepped, he would do it a different one. But yeah, overall, I think this character here is going to be better. And it's just disappointing that he hasn't got Super Saiyan, because Super Saiyan isn't a bad form. I just think that it's just bundled really badly with giving him a really generic form, because again, this Daima character, he isn't that good, but his stepping and the fact he can do that is what makes him better in my opinion. Alright, so I'm just going to show off Glorio, or Glory Hole, whatever his name is. Now, I don't think he's that bad, but he's not that great either. He's got a Spark Bind, which is a paralyzing move, which is kind of cool. He's got Thunder Charge, that gives him back Ki, and boosts his stats up and stuff like that. His cutscenes, they're pretty alright. They don't do that much damage. You know, they're pretty weak. And his combo strings aren't that great either. He's got a Rolling Hammer, which a lot of people like to use. But then I think that's really, and a Ki Blast Cannon Smash. So he's got the Rolling Hurricane that goes with the Rolling Hammer. That one there. And then he's also got the, if I can't remember it, my bad. That one there, which is not really unique. He's got a move that can pick you up from the ground. And that's pretty much him as it goes. I can see for the rushing attack, heavy crush. Actually I haven't did heavy crush one. But again, that's not a follow-up combo anyway, that's a combo render. That's the one there. It's a combo ender, so you can't really extend your combos from that move on. So again, nothing too great, we see. It's just pretty generic in my opinion. And then he's got obviously his ultimate, which is just a flashy move, but again, not too special. Okay, it does decent amount of damage, but it's nothing too special. So that's Glorio for you. I wouldn't spend my money on the DLC for him. I don't think there's any sense. And then you have Pansy, which I don't think anyone expected her to come in this game. This move's pretty trash because the range on it is ridiculous. Like, they should show you it properly. Like, it's kind of similar to Glorio's paralyzing move, except for Glorio has a better range. This one here, her range is terrible. Wow, you can actually connect there. I'm actually surprised. So, but if I was to do it here, can it connect? No, it won't. So you would need to kind of get it with like this for that to even work effectively, right? And then for you to kind of do your moves. So I mean, that's cool. Fair enough, fair play. But yeah, she's just not that exciting of a character. I don't know why she's got an instant spark. That is crazy to know a character like this has an instant spark. She's got a Ki Blast that does hardly any damage. You saw the range of that, innit? Terrible range. I need to check her DP level. She must be 2 or 1. She has to be a 1, man, because this is awful. This is literally awful. Like, you get a taser move on him. Does hardly any damage. And I'm not saying that she should do damage. I don't expect her to do damage at all. She looks like a weak character. But what I'm trying to say is, fair enough, she throwing this character as an Easter egg bundle, but that, like, there's no real reason for you to buy this DLC though. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't buy the DLC for Pansy, you wouldn't buy it for Glorio, you'd buy it for Goku, and you'd buy it for SS3 Vegeta, and they just fumbled the bag with SS3 Vegeta, in my opinion. There's nothing cool about him at all. You know, she hasn't got any combo strings, anything useful anyways. She got Key Blast Cannon Smash, the one where she just knocks you down, the one I showed you Glorio, but she has no extenders. It's literally just these basic ones here. You can run through, and so you got Heavy Finish and Flying Kick and Key Blast Cannon. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I wouldn't spend my money on this DLC, not for these characters, bro. I'll be honest with you. The first DLC was better. You had Cell Max, which if you like Giants, he's pretty cool. You know, you had Gohan, Beast Gohan, crazy character. Brilliant character. I don't use him because everyone uses him, but he's a good character. I can't lie to you on that. And you had you had Super Piccolo, or Piccolo Super. He was a good character. He was an interesting character. He had good forms, good transformations. He was pretty nice. And then you had the Garments as well. That weren't too bad. They were way better than all these characters. At best, I reckon we're having SS3 Vegeta is probably equivalent to a Daima character. It's probably equivalent to having a Gamma character, in my opinion. You know, I don't think the SS3 Vegeta is better than Piccolo. I don't think he's better than Beast Gohan. I don't think he's better than Cell Max. I think he's probably equivalent to the Daima character. Keep saying Daima. The Gamma characters. I think he's on par with them. But he's just more fucked up. Actually, I don't even think he's even better than them. I'll be honest with you. This DLC isn't worth it. That's what I'm getting to. So if you haven't spent your money on this DLC, I'd recommend not to, because I don't think the actual bundle you're getting with it is actually worth it. Unless they're doing it for dirt cheap and you just want to get the whole characters all together, then fair play. If you're waiting to see if the DLC is worth your time, I would miss this one out because there isn't anything cool in it. You know what I mean? There's nothing really you're going to stand and play with for a long time. Unless, like I said, they expand the DLC for a DLC pack Daima 2, and it has more interesting characters and more interesting, like, you know, moments to come with it. But anyways, you already know what it is. You know, LT, aka Tank Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it. Bow. We out. Cells that react, maybe go on stronger. System go lit like a TNT brick spot. If they be launched at me, then I'm on guard. They need to retreat, they be beating this dunya. Visa, none of in a freezer. Heal up and cut like a wound cut Caesar. I'm send like a ruler. Once in a blue moon, go ape like a Vegeta. Don't you give a damn.